one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Brent, thanks a lot. Well, it is 9:02. We will call this meeting to order. And first item up is citizens' comments. We have no one that wishes to speak at the opening?
Not at the opening.
Not at the opening. Okay. Item 1, consider and take action on previously held minutes. Excuse me, let me start over. It's election day, y'all. Item 1, consider and take action on minutes from previously held meeting of Commissioners Court on February the 11th, 2020. Gentlemen, this was left over due to Commissioner Thomas's illness last week, so we would have enough to actually vote on it. Are there any additions, deletions, or comments?
Yeah, I've been knowing that now that when you go to conference that you get voted on a committee, so I will not be attending any more conferences.
What's the old saying? Must be present to win?
Judge, if there's not any changes or any additions to the minutes, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes that were done for the meeting done on February the 11th, 2020.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner Cheney to approve the minutes from February 11th, 2020. All those in favor? Those abstain? 3, 4, and 2 abstentions. Item 2, consider and take action on minutes from previously held meeting of Commissioners Court on February 25th, 2020. Deletions, additions, or comments? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
Judge, I move we approve the minutes of meeting Commissioners Court February 25th, 2020.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner McCam to approve the minutes of February 25th, 2020. All those in favor? Abstention? It passes. Item 3, consider and take action to accept the racial profiling report from the Henderson County Attorney's Office for filing purposes only. Mr. County Attorney?
This will be short. I only have the one investigator. We do not engage in routine traffic stops, so our report is actually filing and stating that we have an exemption to filling out a detailed report, and so it's just that, it's an exemption. And if the court doesn't know, I know a lot of you have seen these come through, but what you may not be aware of, there's actually a $5,000 penalty for an agency that does not file the report. And so that's pretty important to the county, it's pretty important to me, which is why even though you'll see a lot of these reports that come through, if you're exempt from having to file a report, we go ahead and file it for public record, just to make sure that the state doesn't try to come back and ding us with that penalty.
Questions or comments? Entertain a motion for acceptance for filing purposes only.
I'll make a motion, we accept the racial profiling for Henderson County Attorney's Office for filing purposes only.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Cheney to accept for filing purposes only the racial profiling report from the Henderson County Attorney's Office. All those in favor? Item passes. Item 4, consider and take action to accept the racial profiling report from the Henderson County Fire Marshal's Office.
Morning, Court. This is exactly what Clint just said from my office. We don't make routine traffic stops during our normal job performance. So this is an exempt filing, and it just needs to be filed with the Commissioner's Court for filing purposes.
Questions or comments? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second that motion, Judge.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner Thomas to accept the racial profiling report from the Henderson County Fire Marshal's Office for filing purposes only. All those in favor? Item passes. Item 5, consider and take action on approving a contract with Catapult Health Services to provide health screening checkups for Henderson County employees and their adult dependents or spouses. Ms. Beavers.
Good morning, Court. This would be a contract between Catapult Health Services and Henderson County to come out and actually do blood screenings. That would count as their physical for the employee's physical for the year. We'll have 2 locations. We're actually going to try and do one at the sheriff's office and one here at the annex. This contract, when you guys look into it and you see that there is a $180 fee, that actually would not apply to us because we are filing this straight through the employee's insurance. The only time that fee would apply would be if an employee does not show up. Now, we can fill that spot same day with a walk-in, so we hope to not have any fee associated with this service at all.
Questions?
So they'll fill out their insurance form at that
Yes, sir.
time when they
So-
show up?
Yes, sir. So once we get the approved contract signed with the judge's authorization to sign, then I will send it off to Catapult. A Catapult representative will reach out to me and speak with me weekly with how we are doing this on scheduling. And they will actually schedule the employee themselves. Catapult will reach out.
So it's like a health fair is really
It
what it's
is.
going to be.
It's- yeah.
A small health fair where
Very
they'll come in, get evaluated, there'll be some other questions.
Takes about 15 to 20 minutes per employee
Okay.
is what we've been told.
We need to encourage our employees to
Yes, sir.
get involved and to make an appointment. They need to stay with that appointment.
Yes, it's just a simple little finger prick, and then they do the analysis of your blood drawn, and then you will meet with, on FaceTime through a iPad.
Right.
You'll meet with a physician in a enclosed room with a sound
Exactly.
machine outside, so no one can hear.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Comments from the insurance committee?
This is something we did a couple of years ago. I think it's really beneficial to the employees. They'll come in and do a blood test, height, weight, abdominal circumference, and blood pressure measurement. I mean, it's an opportunity for the employees to come in and see, how they are health-wise. And like she said, it's free to the employee and wife or
Spouse, dependent, child, yeah,
So,
that's 18 or older. And if they do find something wrong with the employee, if their blood work comes back and they do have high cholesterol or something like that, they can actually help the employee schedule an appointment with a physician here locally to get that checked out.
Great. Any further comments?
Very good.
Or questions? This will have to have authorization.
To sign, yes, sir.
Okay. Entertain a motion.
I'd like to make that motion, Judge, that we go with this contract for Catapult with your authorization to sign, Judge.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner Tooley to approve the contract with Catapult Health Services to provide health screening checkups for Henderson County employees and their adult dependents or spouses with the judge's authorization to sign. All those in favor? Item passes. Item 6, consider and take action to authorize the insurance committee to seek requests for proposals for health insurance benefits.
So when the insurance committee met a couple weeks ago, we discussed this with Ramisha, and we all agreed that it's probably going to be pretty hard for somebody to beat TAC. They're really good at what they do, but she felt it would be valuable just for us to know that we are making the right decision going with TAC, that TAC is presenting us with their best, and to see if there is something out there that might be better. Occasionally it does happen. She would like the court to approve us going out for an RFP on this.
Questions, comments?
When was the last time that maybe an RFP was done for?
I don't know if it's ever been done. We're not legally required to do it,
Right.
since we're with TAC, so I don't, not in my tenure.
We did it once, that I can remember one time, and TAC was the most economical at that time.
We had discussed it a few years ago, and a couple of the insurance companies I talked to said they would be requesting this back. They're hard to beat most of the time, but at least occasionally step out there.
Yeah. Keep them honest, as they say.
I agree. I mean, that's our due diligence.
And this will all be covered under the contract with Ramisha. She will handle all the work, gather and analyze and make sure we're carrying out the stuff.
Contract is due to renew August, something like that. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to authorize the insurance committee to seek requests for the RFPs for health insurance benefits.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cheney, second by Commissioner Tully, to authorize the insurance committee to seek requests for proposals for health insurance benefits. All those in favor? Item passes. Item 7, consider and take action to appoint a member to the Emergency Service District's Number 10 Board of Directors located in Precinct 2 for a term which will expire December 31st, 2021. Commissioner Tully?
Yes, Court. We've had some problems, not problems, but different scenarios that happened. Ben Lane was appointed last year and then to this position, and then they grabbed him and appointed him to the school board in Eustis. And so we found a lady that has been willing to serve for this term, and I think she's going to be a great fit. The board has approved her also. So I would like to appoint Donna Ward to fill Ben Lane's position with his term expiring December the 31st of 2021. So I'll entertain any questions.
Questions? Well, I will speak for Ms. Ward. Known her for 45 years. It's a great addition to the board.
I'll second that motion.
He's fast, man.
Did you made your motion?
If that's what he wants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Motion made by Commissioner Tully, second by Commissioner Cheney, to appoint Donna Ward to the TSD Number 10 Board of Directors located in Precinct 2. All those in favor? Item passes. Thank you. Item 8, consider and take action on interlocal cooperation contract with the Texas A&M Forestry Service for shared communications and tower services at the Forestry Service's existing tower in Chandler, Texas. Mr. County Attorney, if you would please, you have been negotiating this with us.
May need some help from the
Sheriff?
on this one, but I'll try and do my best. But I, of course, worked with the Forestry Service on drafting the interlocal agreement. I don't have a copy of it because I brought the original to the judge. It's already been executed by the Forestry Service, so we already have that. But this is an existing tower that the Forestry Service has, and it's actually on the Cade property of the Cade family. And I do want to thank, we had a meeting with Jeff Cade, and I believe it was his dad, Mr. Cade. Very thankful to them. I know Jeff's here today. Very thankful to them for just allowing us to continue to use that property, or allow the Forestry Service to continue to use that property and work with us on this deal. But the agreement before you is actually the agreement between us and the Texas A&M Forestry Service to allow us, they have the lease on the Cade property. And it's a lease that's essentially in perpetuity, for as long as they use the property for tower services, then they can retain that lease. And they have an existing tower there. I don't know the height, but it's a shorter tower, I presume. I see the sheriff nodding yes. And so under our agreement with them is they are going to allow us to come in and replace their tower with a 250-foot tower that we can put our communications equipment on. In exchange, we will also allow them to put their communications systems on the tower, of course, and continue to use it. Their use of it's very minimal. Typically they're going to use it if it's during the dry or the fire season, and they use it for communications. So I'll try my best to answer any questions if you guys have questions.
Gentlemen?
So the structure there is wood structure?
No,
Oh.
it's an existing metal tower.
Okay.
It's just too short and
I
not
got
big
you.
enough to accommodate our
Okay.
needs.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it'll have to be new one or be rebuilt on the same, right beside it in that area, plenty of room.
Yeah, and originally, we had the draft of the agreement that actually would have allowed us to go in and build our new tower right next to it. Part of the conditions of the contract or the agreement that we have with the Forestry Services, they've asked us to be responsible for removing the old tower and replacing it. I still think it's at our option whether we want to remove it before we build ours or after. You know, if space is available, I think we could come in, build our new one, transfer their equipment over to it. Therefore, there wouldn't be any downtime from their equipment because we'd have the new one in place. But it is our responsibility under the agreement to remove that old tower and dispose of it however we see fit. You know, if there's no value to it, we can salvage it. If there's value to it, it's ours to dispose of. The agreement does call for that if any time they cease to use the location for tower services, we can't imagine that they ever would. And when I say we, I'm talking about me and the people that I've talked to at the Forestry Service. Just wouldn't make any sense because they're always going to have a need for communications. But if that came, we do have the right to go in and remove our tower from the property.
Other questions?
And there will be some other specifics in there. It will require I think it's a 1,000-gallon propane tank, 1,000-gallon propane tank that will have to be installed. We will build a new 2-room equipment building on the property. We're probably going to have to, it's my understanding, and I've not been out to location, but it's my understanding that they currently have, it's 105 foot on a corner, 105 by 105 leased, and they're only using a smaller footprint of that. That's one of the reasons we wanted to meet with the Cade family to say, hey, we're going to need to expand to the full dimensions of the lease agreement. And so we're going to have to go in and expand the fences. We've talked about doing some perimeter fencing. Well, we'll have to do some perimeter fencing, which is typically a 6-foot chain link fence to keep people from climbing the tower. The Cades from time to time do use that property for running cattle on, you know, again, from time to time. And so that's something we talked about, is actually doing a double perimeter fence where we put a barbed wire fence. Because anybody that's had cows and chain link, we all know what cows love to do with chain link is rub all the way down the side of it. So, you know, there's some other work like that we'll have to do and make some improvements to the location.
Questions, comments?
Well, it sounds like it'd be better to build it beside it so you wouldn't have as much downtime. So I don't know how much downtime it would be, but it sounds like it'd be better just to leave it there and then build it beside it.
And I don't know either, Commissioner. I know Commissioner McCam and the sheriff have worked a lot more on this deal than I have, and so they could probably know exactly how long it would take to go in from start of construction of the new one and all of that type of stuff. I think if it came down to it, the Forestry Service has been great to work with also. I think they would be okay if it was a temporary time of a week or two being down. As long as it wasn't July and August when they were down. You know, but I think we were looking at getting some people out there pretty quickly on this deal, and I think that if it were next month or so, I think they would be okay if it were a short period of time being down. That would be something we would need to clarify with them before we just you know, cancel their service. So.
Commissioner, you have any comments?
This is a project we've been working on for some time. When we found out we weren't going to be able to use another tower, that location became available. We found that the Texas Forestry Service owned that tower, and the Cade had leased them that property. So we've been working on this for probably close to a year, and it's a piece of the communication puzzle that's finally starting to come together, and we're starting to see some action fixing to start taking place. So thank you, County Attorney Clint, for working on that for us. I'd like to again thank the Forestry Service for being so cooperative with us. And it's time to start seeing some of these things start coming together. It's good to see.
Yeah.
Sheriff, anything you'd like to add?
The only thing I wanted to add is when we initially drew the plans, and then it was too expensive in that one tower, and we started looking at other locations. And we found this location actually brought this location to our attention, and it actually increased our coverage throughout the county, so our ratings that we signed the contract on actually have went up by using this location. So it's a better deal for the county all the way around. Also, Clint and the Food Service and the Hayes helping us out with the
One additional thing that it offers is that in this new age of P25, it allows for the networking into the future, for the growth. It puts coverage over into Van Zandt County, some into Smith County, which if you're familiar with P25, our site, our system can handle 16 sites. And that allows, as long as they can see each other and touch each other through microwave, and that one is very crucial to that plan. So, anything else?
Hearing nothing, I'd like to move that we accept, that we approve the interlocal cooperation contract with Texas A&M Forest Service for shared communications and tower services at the Forest Service existing tower in Chandler, Texas, with the county judge's authorization to sign.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Tooley, to approve the interlocal cooperation contract with the Texas A&M Forestry Service for shared communication and tower services at the existing site in Chandler, Texas, with the judge's authorization to sign. All those in favor? Item passes. Can't reiterate that right there is a big move for us, and we do appreciate everyone that was involved in it. Item 9, remove from the table. We have an action to remove from the table the agreement with the animal shelter services with the Humane Society of Cedar Creek Lake. Can we have a motion to remove?
I move to take from the table the action on the agreement for the animal shelter services.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Cheney. All those in favor? Item passes. Reiterate, the item is to consider and take action on agreement for animal shelter services with the Humane Society of Cedar Creek Lake. Once again, I'll ask our county attorney if he would come back up. Pardon? You have a speaker. I am so sorry. You're exactly right. Before we go, we do have a speaker, and Ms. Lambert, I'm very sorry. We have Norma Lambert that wishes to make a statement at this particular item. So, Ms. Lambert, please. I apologize. Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome.
Sometimes you have to throw rocks at me.
Well, it won't be the first time. It probably won't be the last time. Thank you for listening to me this morning. In 1989 until 2007, 19 years, the Henderson County Humane Society covered animal control in this county. No money from the county, but help from the Sheriff's Department, no ordinance. In 2007, a citizens committee was formed to write an animal control ordinance, and that was done. At that time, the Henderson County Humane Society was taking in the bulk of the animals from the county, and therefore the Henderson County Humane Society was awarded the bulk of the money. $52,000 was divided. In 2015, after having a euthanasia rate ranging from 60 to 80%, the Henderson County Humane Society gave rise to a group called the Henderson County Coalition for Animals. From that came an amendment to the ordinance that set fines for violation of the ordinance. In 2017, the Henderson County Humane Society could see no change in adherence to the ordinance. So, in a money bind and sick of the euthanasia of animals for a county that didn't seem to give a hoot, we quit after 29 years. The county took over. 4 months later, a group called the Reformers unleashed a planned attack on the new county shelter using euthanasia as their weapon. The euthanasia rate was still ranging from 60 to 80%. The county gave up
after the 2 years. Euthanasia is a powerful weapon, plus money bind is the powerful weapon. The plan was successful. Now we are with another group, one that has, for the first time, will be operating a fully open admission shelter. We want to do what we can do to make that venture successful. So all of this has happened because as a county, we've never been willing to stop the cause of the problem. Spay-neuter will not get it done. Law-breaking, animal mistreating, neighborhood terrorizing, irresponsible animal owners cause it. How long will it take for us to stop letting these bullies victimize the entire county and its animals? The time is right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lambert, if you would, give your address. I'm sorry.
What?
Your address.
Oh.
Sorry.
2750 Waterwood Drive, Chandler, Texas.
Thank you very much. Mr. County Attorney.
We were here last week, and of course, talked about that, the agreement. There were a few things and some things that we have changed. We just got these amendments done late yesterday evening. I just sent them to Angie this morning, but the one change that we had discussed about last week was what we would do with personal property items that belong to the county. That has been added into the agreement that we would go over. We would inventory any personal property items that the county wishes to retain ownership of, and we will provide the tool shelter with a list of all the personal property items that we would wish to retain ownership. So that's been added into the agreement that none of you have seen, but is in accord with the conversations and the discussions that we had last week in court. We filled in the effective date of the contract, and in meeting with Lynette and Gretchen, we agreed upon an April 1st, 2020 start date. That would be the start of the second quarter, so it would be a good timing. It would also give almost 4 weeks for everybody to make preparations to doing that. Another change that was requested because of that is originally the contract that you guys had said that payment would be made within 10 days of the effective date. We have changed that to make it owner but be a problem.
Does that payment include the city's payment also, or we have to wait on that?
The city would have our portion for that quarter. $1,000 for the county, and then of course the city's contribution would be $65,000.
The 261 is the budgeted amount.
Okay. For the county?
Yes, for the county.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm going to do some math here, so.
261 county, 65,000 city.
And I'm going to back up because I think the way the contract is read is that our quarterly payment would be for the full amount of the monies combined. So I think our quarterly payment is going to be around $81,000 for the quarter, which obviously would include a portion of the city money. And that may be something we need to check on as to when and how we get. So to clarify what I said a while ago, I think whether we got the money from Athens, our first quarterly payment is going to be $326,000 divided by 4, and that would give you your quarterly payment. So. And lastly, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, there was one other sentence that was added, which was actually something that had been brought to me previously in talks with the tool shelter, and I just failed to mention it in my bullet list last week, and that was that we added a sentence that just says that any expenses or accounts payable that are outstanding that were incurred prior to the effective date, we would continue to be responsible for those. That was something to me that was a non-issue, because that was always our understanding, is that we're going to remain responsible for any any debts incurred by our shelter up until the day that we actually turn it over to them. So if there's outstanding vet bills, utility bills, of course payroll up and through the end of this month, anything like that, we would be responsible. But they did ask that that be included in the contract, and that was added in also.
Any other questions?
What kind of personal property are we talking about, Clint? Do you have a?
Amy might be able to answer that at the shelter. Most of it, that what I can tell you is, it would be things like kennels and crates and dog houses, and I imagine there's some other
Refrigerator,
tools, refrigerators, and things like that. I think it's going to, even the washer and dryer and things. I think too, though, that's going to be up to the county as to which items we choose to retain ownership in.
I got you.
I mean, let's face it, and this is just my opinion on this. You guys may have a different opinion, but a lot of those items, such a washer and dryer, those things are used so much over there. There's just not going to be any value in them by the time the shelter gets done with them. And so, if it were me going over and tagging it, some of those items I probably wouldn't bother tagging, because the shelf life may not be that long and there's no value.
After the meeting Tuesday, I asked our shelter director, Ms. Lambert, if she would, because she knows the facility, knows the operation, to make a list of what she believed would be valuable in that, because as county attorney has said, the difference between what we tag as an item from the audit office has a $500 threshold. So there may be items that are less than that are something of enduring value to a facility that would not meet our inventory control. So that's why I asked her to take a look and give us a list.
And then, Commissioner, there'd be a lot of smaller items. Think about all the feed bowls, water bowls,
beds.
dog blankets, dog beds, dog toys, and things like that I just can't imagine we want to go through and include those on an inventory.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? In the discussions also, Clint, the issue of the donation to the actual tool shelter.
To the tool shelter.
Can you address that?
So what they did commit, of course, we covered last week, this agreement is for an initial term of 3 years, that they have agreed not to come back and ask for any increase for at least 3 years. They have also indicated or told us that they would also not come back from the tool shelter and ask for an increase in the amount that we're currently giving the tool shelter, which I believe is $20,000 a year.
Yeah. Any other comments or questions?
In the motion, would you need to add the April 1st in here or not?
It's in the agreement, so
Just in
all
there
we need to do
already.
is
Okay.
approve the agreement.
Okay.
Yeah. All of the terms that I just spoke about are already in the finalized
Okay.
agreement that were delivered to the judge this morning.
With that, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement on the animal shelter services with the Humane Society of Cedar Creek Lake with the judge's authority to sign.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Cheney, second by Commissioner McKim to approve the interlocal cooperation, I'm reading the wrong line again. To approve the agreement for the animal shelter services with Humane Society of Cedar Creek Lake with the judge's authorization to sign. Any comments before we take our vote?
I'd like to thank the work that's been done. I know our county attorney, our shelter directors at both locations. I went out to both locations recently, unannounced. I was very impressed with both locations. They were working, the place was clean. It was really both of them ran very well at that point. I was very impressed with both shelters, and I just feel like that this is what's best for our county, and I'm excited that this is the way that we're going is a good way to go, that we'll work together and get this solution solved. I know it's not near over, but it is a right step in the right direction. But there's been a lot of hard work done by several members in the county, and I really appreciate the work that's been done and what's going on to make our county better for our cats and dogs and strays.
I couldn't agree with you more, Commissioner Thomas. Again, I will say that our problem is not the dogs and cats. Our problems is the people that own the dogs and cats. And that I promise you, Ms. Lambert, that we will continue to strive for a thicker animal ordinance, education through our 4-H programs, education through our elementary schools throughout the county. And I will be an advocate for that we try to continue to educate our parents. I know it's not through the 4-H that our parents, because they're the ones that love all kinds of livestock and animals. It's the ones that are the fly-by-nights on December for a dog, and they show back up in May to the animal shelter. But the tool shelter, thank you for stepping up and helping us. What our former Commissioner Courts did to step up at the 2017 and take over and put this into works, but I think that this is the best thing for our dogs and animals and our county as a whole when we move forward in the next 2 years to 3 years with this shelter. So thank you everyone that's been a part of this.
I'd like to say the same thing. Both of those guys have said we appreciate all the hard work that's been done. It's not over with. We pray that this is the right thing to do. We all think it is. It hadn't been an easy decision. We've talked about it and visited about it and fretted over it. And this is the best way that we believe the animal shelter should be handled. Take it out of government control and put it in nonprofit. But I also would like to say that Ms. Lambert, we would also, I think all of us know that something's got to be done. So hopefully in the near future we'll all be working together to try to figure out a way to solve this problem. And I hope people realize the amount of money we're spending. That's Henderson County tax money to take care of animals that other people don't take care of. You know, we want to talk about big government. You know, we're sitting in the middle of it right here when we spend $261,000 of county money, not including the city money, of taxpayer money to take care of animals that people in this county abuse or don't take care of themselves. And I hope that sinks in. You know, I'm glad this is on YouTube where people can look it up and question, why is the county spending $261,000 on animal shelter? Because we have to. Because we got people out there that won't take care of their animals. We don't have any other option. So hopefully, the more this gets out, the more response we'll have in some way of fixing this problem. But thank you for all the hard work that's been done for the last couple of years at the animal shelter through our coordinator and through the work that's been done to try to get this moving in a different direction.
I want to thank, again, Ms. Lambert, Tool Organization, County Attorney, and our shelter director, Amy Lambert, who has, everyone through this has got scars to tell because this is a very passionate discussion. But as everyone has said up here, this comes back to personal responsibility. And it costs us, when you think about stray animals, just think $500,000. Almost 1 penny on your tax rate. goes for animal control in some shape, form, or another. And as long as the irresponsibility continues, the cost will go up. Well, guess what begins to happen after that? Stricter and tighter ordinances. Because when people can't self-regulate, that's when the government steps in, out of public health and public safety. But as the commissioner said, it's televised. Hopefully folks will get the word. But again, everyone, thank you. This court, thank you, gentlemen, everyone involved, because whenever passions are inflamed, it gets heated. But the one thing I've always really been proud of is that we can have our disagreements, but we all continue to working together. So with that, if there's no further comments, all those in favor of the motion? Item passes. Again, thank you all very much.
Judd, I know this was said last week. I just want to remind everybody that this is contingent upon the City of Athens approving the assignment, because we can't unilaterally enter into this agreement without City of Athens. This is still their building and their premises. And so I have been in contact with the city manager, kept her in the loop on where we were on the stages. If Judge will get me a copy of the executed contract today, I will get it over to the City of Athens today, and should be able to go on their meeting on the 9th, I believe, is their next city council meeting. But I just want to reiterate, they will have to approve this before it takes effect.
Thank you, sir. Okay, item 10 is receive financial reports, and we have none today. Item 11 is consider and take action on payroll distributions and accounts cash sheets. We have none. Item 12 is consider and take action on submitted contracts. And first up, we have Auctioneer Express, I believe.
Good morning. I spoke with Auctioneer Express, and they stated that our contract has not been updated in a while, so we wanted to go ahead and submit it today to see if we can get it approved with the judge's authorization to sign. And then also the items are listed behind that contract.
Questions? How many items do we have up for auction this round?
64.
64, ranging from vehicles to filing cabinets to a plethora of items. And this is just updating the contract on file.
Correct.
Gentlemen, questions?
I know I got several items on the list, and I appreciated her hard work. I know she's been out to our side a couple of times, and it's been difficult trying to decide what I'm gonna get rid of, and Courtney's done a remarkable job to help us, and I've got a good list of stuff to put on the auction, so I'd like to get this going and get this behind us.
I move to approve the contract with Auctioneer Express.
And I second that motion.
With the judge's
With the judge's authorization to sign.
Motion made by Commissioner McCam, second by Commissioner Thomas, to approve the contract with Auctioneer Express with the judge's authorization to sign. All those in favor? Item passes. Gentlemen, the next one we have is a contract with PubWorks. And this is, of course, the Public Works software, the same one we use at all four of the precincts. And what we're wanting to do is to procure this for maintenance, to track and maintain all of the expenses and repairs and upkeeps on the county facilities. And this includes the jail. In today's world, with the requirements of jail standards, having everything documented, and I'll let the sheriff speak to some of that, it is becoming more and more a requirement to have this type of documentation, especially in concern of the jail. Sheriff, you want to have?
Yes, sir. We're looking forward to hoping the court approves this. It's going to help us track maintenance inside the facility. every time the Texas Commission of Jail Standards comes and inspects the facility, they're inspecting everything, our records, and all the maintenance, and making sure everything works properly. And this is just a better, more efficient way for us to track that work and make sure everything's done in a timely manner and get done like it needs to be done. Right now, we're on a paper system. Just it's time for us to move to the future.
I think you'll really like this system. One question I had is this going to merge the precinct contract with the sheriff and the maintenance, or is that something later down the road?
It is not, and that is due to the fact of in the initial setup, the 4 precincts were set up separately. We had hoped to bring them all into a SaaS or a cloud system, but due to the original setup, the time and effort that is needed was not economical in this sense. There is no gross money savings to it. What I will say is that in this contract, there is added in 2 full days of training for Road and Bridge as well, so that we can update everyone and to get a more in-depth look at it. So there'll be 2 days for road.
Is that in addition to what's on the contract?
That is in the actual contract.
That is a part of the 4-day?
The 4-day.
I got you.
And of course, some of the modules in the program overlap.
Right.
And that being fleet management and that. So they'll be mutually trained, maintenance, sheriff's department, everyone that wishes to be a part of it, at the same time. But in this, we have 4 days worth of training. In all the years of our software upgrades and changes, training is the most important part to make this thing be as successful as we want it to be.
When you say maintenance, are you talking about building maintenance and jail maintenance, or?
Building maintenance and jail maintenance are one and the same.
Okay.
The maintenance done on the jail is under the maintenance department.
Okay.
So each precinct will continue to be separated,
Correct.
and then the maintenance and the sheriff's department will
Correct.
be on this contract.
They'll be like our 5th precinct.
Exactly.
Our 5th precinct.
And
I think the maintenance department and the sheriff's department, the jail will be satisfied with this program. I think it's done a lot of things for the precincts, but the training will be greatly appreciated.
Yes.
Because we didn't get hands-on training. We got mostly, work through it and call them on the phone training.
right.
So I think being able to.
Or none at all.
Yeah, or none at all. So I think being able to go and sit down and see it face to face and be able to get that contact will be a great help and move this thing even further than it will already do. I mean, it does a lot of things for the precincts.
Well, what we plan on is once we have all the facilities loaded up, we will implement it in maintenance in phases, beginning with the jail. The jail is the most crucial. And I would like to add that the financial expenditures have always been tracked. That has always been taken care of through our financial system. But this actually puts a date and a description of the activity that then matches to the expenditures, both in labor and in cash on hand being handed out. So I'd be happy to answer any other questions.
I was very impressed with the public works when I came in, and I was surprised to see that the county did that, and even the time that it saved, keeping up with the employees and going straight to their phones and saving time and therefore saving money for the county. Keep them having to turn around and go back right where you were to start with. So I think they'll really like this program. I was very impressed with it.
So move with the judge's authorization to sign.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner Chaney to approve the contract with Public Works with the judge's authorization to sign. All those in favor? Item passes. Item 13, consider and take action on request for right-of-way permits.
There was one out of precinct 1.
One out of precinct 1.
There is one in my precinct. Angie actually told me when I was at home with a strep that I had a right-of-way. But I did go and check on this yesterday, and it is a constituent that does need power. They are running a generator at this point, so they're needing to get their power. It's actually going to a home, one home. It's a service request, and I went and looked at it, and I'm ready to move on with it and let them get approval to do the right-of-way. Court so said. It's just one of my county roads, 1314, and it's going straight to a customer.
Questions for Commissioner Thomas? Entertain a motion.
Well, thank you, Judge. With that, I'd like to make a motion that we approve my right-of-way permit, which is located off County Road 1314 in Precinct 1 for me to sign.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Thomas, second by Commissioner Tooley, to approve the right-of-way permit with Encore Electric Delivery for County Road 1314 with the Commissioner's authorization to sign. All those in favor? Item passes. Item 14, consider and take action on submitted budget amendments. We do have some of those.
Yes, let's start with the 2019 budget amendment. When I was reviewing the 2019 financials, I noticed that there was a purchase order in Precinct 3 that had not been released under vehicles. So I'd like to go ahead and clean that up and put that in his road material so he can also access that for his lateral road.
Questions? Entertain a motion on the 19 amendments.
I move to accept the 2019 budget amendment.
Motion made by Commissioner McCann, second by Commissioner Cheney to approve the 2019 budget amendments. All those in favor? Item passes. We have 2020s?
Yes, we have 2020 amendments. I think they're all pretty self-explanatory. I did take money out of the contingency fund to cover some items that were purchased for elections that we did have in contingency, in addition to the next tower project payment that was due.
Questions about the 2020 budget amendments?
No questions, Judge.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the 2020 budget amendments.
And I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cheney, second by Commissioner Thomas to approve the FY 2020 budget amendments as presented. All those in favor? Item passes. Item 15, consider and take action on payment of bills.
Yes, sir. For 2019, this week, I have $10,595.66.
Questions on the 2019 bills?
No questions, Judge.
None.
None.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the $10,595.66.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cheney, second by Commissioner Tooley to approve the 2019 bills in the amount of $10,595.66. All those in favor of the motion? Item passes.
For 2020, I have $411,656.79.
Commissioner Thomas, questions?
No, Judge, I don't have any questions today.
Commissioner Tooley?
None.
Commissioner McCann?
I have none.
Commissioner Cheney?
No, sir.
Entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Tooley, second by Commissioner McCann to approve the fiscal year 2020 bills in the amount of $411,656.79. All those in favor? Item passes. Item 16, consider and take action on submitted plats.
No plats.
No plats. Item 17, open and consider bids. remind everyone, today is Election Day, so if you haven't exercised your right, please do. We hope that the weather holds off enough so that everyone's able to get out and go. So we thank you for being here today with us.
One more thing, there's still lots of questions over the voter center, but you can vote anywhere at any polling place in Henderson County.
So
I'm going to go to a completely different place. I've never voted today. As soon as this meeting's over, I'm going to somewhere I've never been and vote today. Just want to let y'all know that.
I did this one.
got one 200 yards from the house. And
I am not going to Crossroads. I am going to Caney City or Tool. I'm going somewhere to vote.
Well, again, thank y'all for being here with us today. Item 18 is consider and take action to adjourn.
Do you have GPS on your phone? Because I don't want you to get lost.
I could get lost. I could get lost if I get
Sheriff,
out of
can you
precinct
get him
one.
one of those?
Can you get him a special escort?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner McCann, second by Commissioner Tooley to adjourn. All those in favor?
I may vote in precinct 2. I may go to 2 and vote.
Hang on just a second.
You'll never go back. Thank y'all again.
I may go to
We all
useless.
pray look out for a Chevrolet pickup.
An older gentleman driving. Thank you so much. Hey, thank you so much.
Remember, you got one more next week.
All right.